Opinions expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of Touch Radio or its staff.
Yeah. What it do, party people? This is Power Move, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I'm here in the putty. My partner in crime, Mr. Kevin Carr, could not make it. I think he's probably supporting the University of Georgia, getting ready for their CFP Bowl. So I'm here solo, but we have an awesome guest. Woo! I can't wait to introduce her and have a conversation because she's going to hit you with some missiles and fire. But before we get started, let's talk about a little bit what's going on in the world of music. Right now in the world of music, everyone is talking about going digital. These NFTs is where everybody is now looking to create digitally. I got my buddy James Andrews has had an all-day affair in which he just launched a new platform called Voices, somewhat similar to Clubhouse. As a matter of fact, just as a disclosure, my man James Andrews is one of the first investors, a brother in Clubhouse, but now he's also launching Voices, which you need to just check it out. If you need more information, text me 917-540-8274. Again, 917-540-8274. Yeah, you know it. I keep the New York zip codes in my environment. In addition to that, Mary J Blige just launched a single, and she has a new record label with 300 Entertainment. As a matter of fact, 300 Entertainment just got bought out by Warner Brothers. It was affiliated with Warner Brothers as a distribution deal. Now it's consumed by them, and Kevin Lyles is still the CEO. So congratulations to him on that venture. In the world of entertainment, not so good news. Megan Good and Devon Franklin just filed for divorce. What happened to Black Love? I don't know, but unfortunately, it fell apart. In the world of sports, as you know, a lot of games are being canceled. The Lakers are getting decimated. The Knicks started off strong. Now they whimpering. Brooklyn Nets barely have a team, and now they're now looking to bring back Kyrie Irving. So it's funny how things change when we got a COVID virus, when people are vaccinated, and they're still, being under the gun. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens with the rest of the NBA, and the rest of the league. Tampa Bay Buccaneers just took a L, 9-0 to the Saints. Oof. But you know what? That's not a big deal. That's only their second or third loss. So, hopefully we'll make it to the Super Bowl again, and we'll be called Tampa Bay one more time. And that's the biggest highlights that I want to talk about in the world of sports and entertainment. And with that being said, I want to bring in this lovely power broker of a queen. What she does is she assists women with earning, check this out, $11.2 million in raises since June of 2020 during the pandemic. She's been interviewed and featured in Forbes magazine 3 times. She's a Harvard Business School alumni. Also got a program for leadership development. She's a certified executive leadership coach from Georgetown University. She's the 13th African-American woman to achieve the rank of commander in the U.S. Coast Guard's 230-year history. Do you understand that? The 13th African-American woman. Woo! She's published 5 #1 best-selling books on Amazon in just only 8 months. She's a 2018 Harvard Business School Launching New Ventures Pitch Competition Grand Master Champion. And her goal, this is what I love about her. She has big, audacious goals. She wants to get 10,000 women $1 billion in raises and promotions by 2025. It's not a game for her. It's not a game. So she's a globally recognized leader, a keynote speaker to businesses. And last but not least, just to share with you a little bit of her humanitarianism and how she just gets things done. When she was a commander, she responded to the needs of the citizens in New Orleans 2 days after Hurricane Katrina and had a 3-year congressional fellowship with Congressman Elijah Cummings at the House of Representatives. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show Miss Christy Rutherford. What it do, girl?
Over that bio took an hour. Yes, I like to win.
That's right. That's right. It's not a game with you. It's not a game at all. So how have you been? I mean, you've been doing your thing on LinkedIn. You have your show that you do every Friday, representing, bringing in dynamic women. First and foremost, how are you and your family during this pandemic?
I've been in the Bahamas since March last year, so I'm good. I'm awesome. My family's good. You know, some people in my family got sick and then they recovered, but we're good. So we're blessed. We're blessed and highly favored over here. So, you know, and I pray for. I know people who've gotten COVID and passed away, like some close people to me. And then I've known people who had COVID and made it. So it's interesting to, we're in interesting times where there's tremendous adversity, but there's also tremendous opportunity, depending on how you want to look at it.
Absolutely. It is all about the mindset and being strong enough to determine how you're going to choose which direction you want to go. So you're absolutely right. So, share with us, when I think about you and getting to know you, through social media and things of that nature, I see you as a heroine and a champion for women in the career space. And today I want to focus on confidence, because one of the things that I see that you always, it's almost like an undercurrent when you have your interviews with your guests and even in your newsletter. The underlying current is you have to understand and build upon your confidence, and don't let anyone take that away from you. And here at my partner, Kevin Carr, he has this company called Pro to CEO, and he has a thing called 9 medallions, which stands for champions. And the C in champions is confidence. So could you share with us, how important is confidence in establishing the goals that you set forth?
Well, let's take it one step further back than confidence. Is really about self-awareness. And when we are assimilating into a majority environment, whether that is when kids go to school and maybe they're the only 1 or 2 black kids in school, or me, I went to a HBCU, South Carolina State.
That's right.
I had to bring it back. Pow.
That's right. And you're part of the Divine Nine, and you're part of the Divine Nine, Zeta.
Yes, Zeta. And so, but then when I joined the Coast Guard, and it was 50 black female officers out of 47,000 people. And 50 was the high number. So when I walk in a room, it's likely you've never seen another black woman in a uniform, and I'm an officer, and I'll rank you. And over time, the military people, we wear our medals on our shirts. So now I have more awards, enough awards to decorate the Rockefeller Christmas tree. So now what I think about in confidence is we lose the ability to be able to value ourselves because we're looking for other people to validate us. So that's not self-awareness. I can't think that I'm great. I need you to say that I'm great in order for me to feel great about myself. And we're going to lose that battle every single time. So it's confidence, yes, but people mix up confidence with regards to self-awareness and self-value.
All right. So I want to go into that, because that's just because right now we're kind of entering into our money segment. So when we talk about self-value, how do you translate that into delivering $11.2 million for others in their career.
So I'll give an example of one of my clients. We took her from 210,000 to 635 in 8 weeks. 210 to 635. She's already worth 635. She just don't know it because she's angry, bitter, secretly crazy. Women in leadership, you've got to be crazy to be a leader. 1, a woman. 2, black woman. A lot of us are secretly nuts, and we can't tell anybody because we're suffering in our Jimmy Choos. We suffer in driving our BMW. We're suffocating in our success, and we can't tell anybody because we got what everybody wanted, which is what happened to me. So yes, I'm the 13th black woman to make commander in the Coast Guard's 230-year history. I'm Christy Rutherford. I'm great. I'm suffering. I can't tell anybody because I'm who people want to be. I'm mentoring 90 black officers. I'm fighting people all day at work. I finally earned my seat at the table. I got 160 people working for me. I'm the number 4 in the office, and I didn't think that the battles would get pettier and more frequent when I finally got my seat at the table. So we fight, and women are always talking about, I want to earn my seat at the table. But when we get there, we think that's the finish line. Oh no. Buckle up for safety. Lace your shoes back up. Put your jogging suit back on and your headband and some brass knuckles, and now get ready to defend that seat every single day. We're exhausted when we get the seat. Like by the time you get there, we collapse and we're like, we're done. It's like, no. So a lot of times we're already worth 635. I had one client who went from 210 to 998 with $435,000 in liquid equity for 4 years. She didn't even know what liquid equity was. She had to look it up.
Wow.
So
what's interesting about what you're talking about, though, Christy, is a perfect example of that, and God bless him and his family because his wife just passed away. Clarence Avant. I used to be in the music business, so Clarence Avant is, they call him the Black Godfather, and that's exactly what he did for folks that were black and brown that was in the industry. He would say to them, oh no, you're going to go in there and with your contract, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You came from a military background. How did you navigate the civilian world to be able to understand how to negotiate those type of deals? That's pretty amazing.
The biggest bridge was when I left the military. It's awful because nobody knew how great I was. So,
that's why you talked about the self-awareness.
Because in the military, when I walk in the room, I'm the ish. I walk in, bow down.
You got the medals on your chest. Yes.
Yeah, cue the music. Chrissy just came in the room, right? So now I'm walking around and nobody knows how great I am, and we don't really know that we're addicted to power because of the military. So you don't know you're addicted to it until you don't get it anymore.
That's
you
right.
You don't know that people are kissing your butt all day until you don't get it anymore. So I'm walking around. Nobody knows how great I am. And what I wasn't ready for was people felt sorry for me. Because when I tell you I'm a commander in the Coast Guard, that means bow down, polish my shoes right now. And people be like, oh, do you have PTSD? Did you go to war? Right? And I'm like, what? So I'm confused because I have more degrees than a thermometer. I'm like, I'm an American hero. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and then they would stand up and they would say, thank you for your service, Sergeant. And boom. Now
I felt that.
I'm cussing people out in the grocery store, the lettuce section, right? Cuss out. And then they like, I knew you had PTSD. So I'm standing there. I can't breathe because you called me sergeant. That's so disrespectful, but they don't know. And so 6 weeks of that, I said, okay, Christy, you can't cuss everybody out that you meet. You're gonna have to figure this thing out. And so over time, I would say a number of years of unraveling, it was misery and it was hard. And it it was sad, and I would say I was depressed, but my depression didn't look like other people's depression because I was actually still moving, right?
Right.
And there was a lot of red berry Ciroc with muscadine juice and ice in a mason jar, and Little Caesar's pizza, and Nutty Bars. So it was a lot of emotional shedding of who I thought I was, which I had taken on. To be in the military, you got to conform. But what I found was when I started talking to a lot of women in corporate, they conform too. We do the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So part of the unraveling, which was pain, and I kept waking up. I thought I died 5 times. I kept waking up. I'm like, all right, fine. We'll go make it work. But then I ended up talking to the program manager at Harvard Business School. One of my friends kept saying, Chrissy, he was in the Marines, so Chris, you got to go to Harvard. He harassed me for a year and a half. And I was like, dude, leave me alone. That was never on my dream list.
So hold on 1 second, because we got to pay some bills. So we're going to come back to the Harvard story, because I love this. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break.
Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Ainsley Doe with Florida Realty Unlimited. As a broker with 15 years experience and a veteran of the Navy, I do understand your needs. Real estate prices are up. So if you're thinking of selling your home, call me for a free market analysis. If you're planning to buy a home, please call me for a free buyer's consultation. For more information, call Ainsley Doe at 813-546-1954. Once again, the number is 813-546-1954. Or check my ad out in the In Touch.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe me.
And usually those are
everything gonna be okay. Call Ricky, he's coming.
But then also a lot of managed projects recently have been particularly around mental health, I think.
Never word from the point forward, just ask Ricky, push your voice. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
All right, we back. So this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, how they earn respect. Only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. We have our special guest, Miss Christy Rutherford. You got to check her out, ChristyRutherford.com, to get your advice, especially for our sisters and brown sisters, on how to get that money. That's right, get that money. So welcome back, Christy. You were just talking about your transition from the military and then going to Harvard Business School. So, and you wasn't even sure that you wanted to go there. So tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I mentored 90 Black officers while I was in the Coast Guard, in addition to the 160 people who work for me. So mentorship and getting people promoted. I tell people all the time, I've gotten more men promoted than women because that's what I did in my career. That was my thing. I'm just playing catch up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the problem that I was having was I didn't speak civilian language. I didn't speak corporate. I didn't speak business. So once I joined Harvard, the whole time I'd be like, oh, that's how y'all say that. And then I would just start taking notes. So that for me was just a translation of this is what I did now in corporate speak. So now I can be able to attract the people that I'm meant to serve, because I'm meant to serve corporate women, not military women in this season. So that's what Harvard was for me. Winning the pitch competition in 2018, marvelous. So it was 66 people from 33 different countries. So being able to have an idea in a very short window of time, in about 3 minutes, and get 33 or 66 people from 33 countries to understand and be able to agree on it. Then I took 3 separate negotiations classes at Harvard Business School. We're a beast when it comes to negotiations. So yeah, we want our money. So it's how do you say the value in the pitch competition? How do you be able to, have a very short window of what your value is. And then in the negotiations piece, this is what I want. So I teach them a lot of the stuff that I learned at Harvard. So typically if I say, one of my clients went from 200, she asked for 525. And she was so nervous. And I said, look, I'm just going to write the script for you. But I used to write the script for people in the Coast Guard. So I'm doing the exact same thing that I did for 16 years. I'm just doing it over here. And so she says, my total comp requirement is 525.
Period. End of story. It is what it is.
Yeah. And there's a very, there is ease in that. And once a woman knows who she is, just like I was talking about the lady who went from 210 to 635, she interviewed with 25 different people in 5 interviews. So once you know who you are, and once you regain who you are, because you never, people say, I'm looking for confidence. I'm like, you are confident. You just forgot. People say, I'm looking for my peace. I'm like, you have peace. You just forgot. Right. So it's buried under something. What happened to you? How did life knock you out? How did life choke you out? You're in a headlock now. Let's relieve that, because that's where women get in trouble. Because if you're really not confident, you're not sure of yourself, the gap in how you see yourself is where you're going to be exploited. Once we get you clear on you're already valued at 635, you're going to ask for it. And then they're like, okay. So 70% of my clients don't leave their jobs. They stay in the job and they get promoted in the same job that they've got overlooked for again and again and again, because once they see themselves, one of the things I always say is people see who you see. If you see yourself as being, for example, I would say I'm gonna preach, this is gonna be my first sermon, Numbers 13:33, where it says we were.
No. It's not Numbers. It's Christy Rutherford 13:33.
Like there's a scripture that says we were like grasshoppers in their eyes. People never read the first part. The first line of that is like, we were grasshoppers in our eyes, and so we were to them. So they see who you see. So when you see yourself as valued at 635 and you ask for it, people are like, okay, they'll pay you because they got money on the table anyway. So that's what we do. We just get women clear on who they already are. And it doesn't take that long. That's how we typically do it in 6 to 8 weeks, because you're already worth that. We just need to figure out, why can't you see it? What happened? And then let that stuff go so we can go get this money and you can have peace, not only within yourself, but in your house as well.
Beautiful. What's interesting is, when I have my informal conversations with different types of people with their occupations and their careers, I've noticed that, to your point, they see themselves one way, they aspire. So they'll say, I'm worth, I might be making $100,000 here, but I'm worth like $400,000 and I want to work at this company and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, they never make the leap. And part of that is because they're afraid. They might have responsibilities at home. They might be the sole provider at home. Their spouse is at home, or they might be a single parent, whatever the case may be. How do you change that dynamic so that person can either take the leap from leaving the company that they're with and marketing themselves better, or like you said, stay within the company but make sure that they're getting valued?
The person that people have conflict the most is typically some unresolved childhood trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Like one client that I have, she always talked about, I had toxic, every job that she went to, she said she has a toxic woman that harassed her in every job. I'm like, for 30 years? So she was mirroring her mom that she was arguing with. I already knew she had toxic energy. Mm-hmm. Women who had parents that were abusive, whether the dad was abusive to the mom was abusive to the kid. When something pops off in the house, kids have learned to go be invisible.
Right.
If there's rumbling in the house between two parents, the kids run, they go hide. So this is what happens. Now you're an executive in the boardroom. You wearing your Jimmy Choos. You got you're in the room, but leadership is conflict. So when conflict pops off, they disappear in the room. They're gone. Mm. So then the men start talking over them. And I'm like, you disappear in conflict. They say, yeah, that works. That works for me. I said, no, that worked for you. So a lot of times what women are doing to not show up, and the fear is rooted in something else. The fear is rooted in, you're not being seen in the room and you feel disrespected. You're not sitting in the room. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
You're not even involved in the room. You're not
You're not engaged in the conversation. And so I saw an article that said corporate America needs to embrace, and I'm gonna talk about it one day, because I've been busy. They need to embrace introverted Black women. And they're like, oh my God, yes, they do it. I'm like, no, there's a difference between being introverted and playing small. You sitting over there playing small. That's not the same as being introverted. Why are you playing small? That's the real work that we do. And once you remember who you are before life choked you out, that's all we do is help you remember who's already sitting in the room. Mm-hmm. And so when they do that, then the very same people that they claim were their biggest haters become their biggest advocates, because they hired them to solve problems, and you sitting over there playing small don't have nothing to say. One client in particular.
Hold on. I want you to rewind and say what you just said, because that's a very key point, and that's part of your negotiating tactic, right?
Yeah.
Repeat what you just said.
They hired you to solve a problem, but you're not giving your input because you're sitting over there playing small. I had a client in Africa that was like, I met her at Harvard actually in one of the courses that I was going to, and I was like, you ain't making no money. I said, you so boring. She was like, what?
Damn, you called her out like that?
I called women out. I said, you so boring. Okay. I was like, you so boring. You ain't making no money. You ain't making no money. People who don't make no money act like you. So I was like, I can help you though, because I know you ain't making the money you're supposed to be making. We got her a 40% raise in I think it was in about 2 months. But the thing about it was, once she started to get confident, she started to give input, and people started taking notes. I said, they've been waiting for you to give input for 2 years. Like, now you're starting to talk. Now people are like, oh my God, finally. Like, that's why they hired you. That's why they're paying you all that money. But a lot of times women wait to be invited to speak. They're waiting to be invited, or they're like, well, they want to know, they'll ask me. I'm like, no, you got to start speaking up.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. So when you make this money for these beautiful women, how does that make you feel?
How do I say this? The money is a byproduct of joy and peace. So they get the peace first. That's what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. Now the money, we danced to Beyonce on the money. But last night I had a session, and one of my clients, I was reading the email before we got on the phone. One of my coaches said, she hollered when I told one lady, I said, you're so boring. What's wrong with you? What you been doing for 2 months? Mm-hmm. Like, how are you still this boring after 8 months? And she started blaming something else, and she had some, let's be clear. Everybody's been through something.
Right.
Everybody has gone through something. Everybody has survived something. So don't be sitting on here telling me that you 50 something and all this stuff happened to you. You're still alive. Everybody's not making it. Like, don't let me start to run down the list of people that have died this year. Like, you're still here. Why are you still talking about what happened to you when you were 10 or when you were 11 or some of the things that your mom did to you? But once she got it, like, when you can see it when women really get it and peace becomes them, then they start smiling weirdly, just like me, because they start, I produce fruit that'll like me. I don't know if they
That's right. That's right. That's in the Bible.
Yeah, you by your fruits you shall know them. You see my clients, you see my interviews. The women are so happy, like they're like, we are free. Once they get that freedom, that's what makes me happy. Once they get the money after that, oh yeah, that's when it's on the popping. But I prefer their peace and their harmony to the money. Don't talk about money if you're still crazy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Peace and harmony, then the money, honey. So we got to pay some bills. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We're going to see you in 2 minutes.
In Touch Radio. This is Sylvain
and Kevin Carr,
and we're with Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives, share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Come join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Power Moves on In Touch Radio.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
All right, we back. This is Power Moves on In Touch Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. We have the distinguished guest, Miss Christy Rutherford, just dropping jewels, boom, boom, bombs, letting people know how you can get this money, ladies. We going into 2022. No excuses. Get it. Go get it, right? So I love what you're talking about in terms of tapping into the power of joy and peace.
Yeah.
Because once you have that glow of joy and peace, no one can tell you anything otherwise. And so being that we're going into our power segment, you know, where does your power come from?
You know, I burned out in 2012. I left my career running like Tina Turner ran from Ike in that white suit. Do you hear me?
What?
I was so crazy. I was so crazy, and it's because I was doing too much, and I was being too much, and I was, you know, I was everything to everybody, but I was nothing to myself. Everything to everybody, but I left nothing for myself. I'm mentoring 90 people. They calling me is, you know, because I'm trying to a lot of, I would say 50% of the senior officers, we have the largest number of captains in the Coast Guard ever, which is the colonel equivalent ever. I mentored 50% of them. Like, this is, it took me 13 years to prove my point. And be like this, I told you, you know, 2020 was good to me on proving those numbers, but my power comes from within. My power comes from God, but my power really comes from within. And it's my me self. It's my me. I tell people I am selfish with my time and my energy because I have to be okay before I can be okay for other people.
Right.
I value my rest. I value my peace. I value my energy. And a part of me staying in the Bahamas last year, I was telling my clients, I'm here for y'all. I can't give what I don't have. Everybody locked in the house crazy. I'm walking down the beach chilling. I can be great for y'all. Come on over here. I can save you, girl. I can save you from yourself. But my power comes from within, but it comes from God. So it's one and the same.
With that being said, I like that you said that, right? That you got to take care of yourself, and then you chose it upon yourself to go to the Bahamas. Can you explain to us, how did you come about in doing that, making that decision? What was that process like?
Actually, I was in Chicago the worst 15 months of my life. And I lived in Chicago, and I went to the Bahamas for 2 weeks in March. And that's when they started, that was last year when they started paying attention to Rona. And they was like, you know what, we're going to lock it down. All U.S. citizens come home and get in the house. I was like, they're not going to do black people right. They're not going to do us right. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what this thing is. This is new. Like, we don't really know. This is before pandemic. This was like, we don't even really know what coronavirus is. It's an unknown. But now we're getting ready to shut the borders down and lock people in the house. I was like, they're not gonna do us right. I'm gonna take my chances on this island. That's pretty much what happened. And so I ended up staying March. I had a client who had a hotel and a restaurant, Daddy Joe's. If y'all ever go down to Eleuthera, Bahamas, Daddy Joe's. So I ended up staying with her. So I was the only guest. So we struck a deal for me to stay in the hotel. She has a boutique hotel, and the food was amazing. I was thicker than a Snicker. So so I stayed with her until July. Then I went over to Nassau, and so I just stayed. Like I love the peace there, and I live in a bubble. I have a very small, controlled environment on the beach. And I came back to the US in May. I moved to DC in July. And I got an interior decorator, paid her $25,000. She came and decorated my apartment. It's so bougie. And after 3 weeks, I said, come pack all this up. And then I left and I went back to the Bahamas.
That's what's up. I mean, you know, I've moved down here from New York City. Well, no, actually Connecticut, 18 years ago, down here in Tampa, Florida. I laugh at all my friends all the time, driving in black ice, dealing with all that cold. I'm like, I'm living my best. I get to go to the beach every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. So with that being said, how do you train your folks to discover their power, to release? What is that process like? Because you're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So how do you, one of your businesses is coaching. So kind of tell us a little bit about their influence and power in helping people do that.
I can deconstruct how women self-destruct. Ooh, that was good. Tweet that. Because I did it. Like, I tell people when I burn out. Burnout is such an overused, misunderstood term. People use burnout just as much as they talk about sweet tea in Atlanta. That's a lie. Burnout is catastrophic. I burned out, lost my marbles. If we were born with 100 marbles at birth, I had 2 left. When I say I cracked up like Humpty Dumpty, it was awful. And it was catastrophic. And it was preventable. So it took 3.5 years for me to put my mindset back together again. It took me 3.5 years to regain my 100 marbles, and I had to figure out, where did I leave them? Where did I leave my marbles? I just went on a search for my marbles. I'm crazy. I'm in my brother's house. I have no money. I have no car. I'm in the South. I'm bougie, and I have nothing. And I could have taken a job because I'm Chris Rutherford. So I've been offered all these jobs, and I'm like, Chris, you're not okay. And so people walk around and be like, I want somebody to love me with my mental health challenges. Or they pretend to be normal when they really secretly crazy, and then continue to attract crazy men. You be like, cause you crazy. Like, but we're not allowed as high achieving women, we're not allowed to be vulnerable. We're not allowed to say that we're going through something. And so when I think about Kate Spade, Kate Spade, who has everything, she's an international luxury brand with her first and her last name. So many people's clothes.
And she got a fat check from Coach. So
she was worth nearly $1 billion, right? Let's say $600-700 million.
Yes.
But she built a worldwide luxury fashion brand with her first and last name, Kate Spade. It wasn't enough for her. But can she really tell somebody that she's suffering? She's Kate Spade. Kate Spade ain't supposed to suffer. My husband is, he cutting up. Girl, you can buy another husband. Well, I'm not feeling well. Well, you'll be all right. So I remember when I was suffering in my career, because I had a boss who started harassing me, and they'd be like, "You'll be all right. Let me tell you what happened to me." And I'm like, "Are y'all listening to me?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fizzling down, and I'm sick, and my body is starting to erupt in disease. So I talked to a lot of women who have fibroids and heart arrhythmia and unexplainable high blood pressure. That is stress. You are melting. So I had all these things that were going on, and I'm telling people, and nobody heard me. And I'm like, I'm suffocating, and y'all are clapping for my demise, and no one is listening to me. It was insane. And so that's why I said I ran away, because I'm waiting for somebody to give me permission to take care of myself, and I almost died waiting. So I ran away from everything and everybody that I knew, and I disappeared for like a year. And once I put myself back together again, because I got 3.5 years to think about it, I can see where the breakdown was and what I did wrong, not what they did to me. Why did I stay? Why did I put up with it? Why did I surrender the ability to be able to value myself? Why did I need these awards to say that I was great? Why did I need, when I walked in the room, for you to bow down? Like, so now once we remove those things, you reveal the happy woman that's standing there. I didn't have peace. So I'll say this and I'll end. My forest was on fire long before the crazy boss got there. He was like the last match that added, that was like, boom. So once I put myself back together again, I can see what burnout looks like. I know what it sounds like, and I know what the signs are, because I did it. And so what I really give women permission to do is to take care of themselves, because we can't, because everybody needs us. We have trained everybody to need us, and we don't know how to say no.
I think one of the biggest common denominator you kept on saying over and over again is the power of saying I. Yeah. I needed to do this. I needed to check myself. Because you're saying you're holding yourself accountable. Yeah. And at the same time, you're saying, you know what, you're responsible for the life that you're looking to live. And that's where your power comes from, which is what you've been underscoring all throughout this conversation. So, and I'm loving the fact that you're explaining that process, where it's almost like a checklist of saying, you know what did I do to cause this to happen? Not that you're saying, what did I do wrong? What was my responsibility in this? And this is a great checklist to really empower yourself to take it to the next level. So that is phenomenal. With that being said, how do you help these executive women find work-life balance? And we have 2 minutes, so we might have to bleed that into the next segment, but
it's easy. I teach them how to say no. Period. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to take on an extra project. Hey, should do you want to take the kids to the game? No, you do it. Hey, because this is the thing. We're typically people who are leaders. We're not only just leaders at work, we're leaders in our families, we're leaders in our communities, we're leaders in our sororities. Like, you have to start to say no and take care of yourself. It's hard for women who have trained everybody to need them. I was the first person that people called when they had a problem. Like when T-Mobile had the top 5, I was everybody's number one. You had a problem, call me. I needed you to need me, and now I'm suffocating in what I created. So whenever you say no, or you don't answer the phone, and you don't become available for other people because you need to put that time on yourself, and once women get a glimpse of that, they actually got 8 hours of sleep. They like, wait a minute. So no is a superpower. I teach them how to say no. And once they say no and they didn't die, the person that they told no to didn't die. The people who got mad when they said no were using them for who they were. You got people who are for you, and you got people who are for what you can do for them. Once you start saying no, you're gonna figure out who's for you by 3 people, who's for what you could do for them is about 100. And you have to start to distance yourself. And once they get that piece back, they'll never go back. So we don't have that, you come work with us and you got to do. No, this is forever. This is a forever lifestyle change. The money is the byproduct of that, but we want our money too.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But it's all about creating those healthy boundaries, right? And it's your healthy boundary, not no one else's. So once again, period. We are going into our next segment. We got a commercial break again. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they say no. Mother, you know what? Only on In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break. All right, we are back. We are back with Miss Christy Rutherford. This is Power Moves on In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. And so, learning to tell people no is what Christy's saying is important for not only establishing your boundaries, but also giving you your power. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about respect, which is our last segment. When was the first time your respect was tested?
I think that when I was a troublemaker at school, I know that's hard for you to believe because I talked all the time.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a comedian. I'm an entertainer. Like, look at what teachers were trying to squash. This is my gift. Like, I'm a gifted entertainer. I am a comedian. Like, I'm funny and I talk all the time and I talk loud. So I'm the weird kid in school. So to be told that you'll never amount to much. Like, how can you tell a kid that you're a teacher? So I remember teachers used to say that to me. That didn't go good. So, I used to get suspended all the time because you say that to me, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to let you have it. I never let people talk to me like that. And even when I was a waitress, I remember I've been drugged out of restaurants several times as a waitress because, some customers come in there and they start feeling themselves. One dude, completely side note, but you asked me, but I never forget it. It was Easter. And people start cleaning their tables off because wasn't nobody leaving no tips. And I'm cleaning my tables off. I worked at Ryan's when I was in college. And this guy came and he looked around in the restaurant, was a white guy. He looked around in the restaurant, it was all black people. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna scream on this chick. So he was like, this is the only clean table in the restaurant. He's screaming in my face. And my coworkers, you know how they get nervous, like, cause I'm like Miss Sophia. and The Color Purple. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, you want to scream at one person. You picked the wrong thing.
one.
I let him have it. You ain't never going to talk to me like that. So I think, you know, it's interesting because, and it's not necessarily about the black or white thing, but sometimes it is, because sometimes we're used as the whipping boy in a point where somebody wants to make a point. Like, I've never been that person where you're going to talk to me sideways. I would let you have it. They had to drag me out of there and they let me go home because I am good at building relationships. So the manager was like, oh my God, what did you do? I was like, he started it.
That is awesome. So can you share, how do you develop a high level of respect for women in the career force? How do you help them develop that?
It's high level of respect for self. We've surrendered self-acceptance for other people's acceptance. We've surrendered self-love for other people's love. We've surrendered self-value for other people's value. Once you go back and you collect all your marbles and you get your mind back right and you make it about yourself, then you can give from the overflow to everybody else. We're walking around pouring from an empty cup, waiting for somebody to come pour in our cup. It's never going to happen. Or we're waiting for companies to write a policy. We're waiting for people to finally treat us right. We're waiting for, we're suffering in front of other people, waiting for them to care. They got problems too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. That's a problem that I have. But, I think that we all have our missions to do. And you have the people who have the missions to go talk to the corporations. That ain't what I do. You be like, I ain't talking to these folks. I'm not talking to them, right? Like, I want to talk to the women because we have to take responsibility for ourselves and then move. We're not a tree. Like Jim Rome says, you're not a tree. You can move.
I'm happy you said the moving thing, because in your opinion, when should a high influential executive woman decide to either continue with the company, this is going to be my last question,
okay, or
start their own business?
So here's the thing about these entrepreneurship streets. You shouldn't jump out into these entrepreneurship streets if you're crazy, right? I didn't.
Oh, wait a minute, but you're crazy.
No, I was there. There are different levels of crazy. This is burnout. This is burnout crazy. This is you running away like Tina Turner. Because when women leave, they run away like I did, like Tina Turner. I'm a little special. Now I reveal my magical fairy crazy. This is the happy crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But what I didn't anticipate when I left was entrepreneurship takes 120% brain power. I only had 2 marbles left. I didn't have the mental capacity to be able to manage entrepreneurship. That was most shocking to me. That's how I ran out all my money, because I didn't have it, and I was only focused on the money, not knowing that the 2 marbles were gone with entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship requires 120% brain power. So I do have clients who, once we get them straight and settled, then they can go and confidently ask for their money. Then you can go and confidently build a business because you've gotten your nucleus back. You've gotten yourself back. You've restored yourself back to your original finish. That's the problem, is that we're not taught to take care of ourselves. We're taught to keep surrendering and taking care of other people. And entrepreneurship for women, a lot of women who are in leadership, is their desire to go serve at a different level, to serve other people. So you're still giving, doing. You're not being.
That's it. Those are the final words right there. We could shut it down, drop the mic, right there. It's a wrap. So once again, Christy, tell us, how do we consume you? How do women who are listening to our show, young ladies, learn to use you as a role model, leverage the fact that you have your different streams of income that you've developed in your entrepreneurship?
Why you count my money?
Man, I'm all about that money. I'm all about making sure people have the joy and the peace. But at the end of the day, Power Moves is all about results and how bottom line, we get results, right? So And at the end of the day, part of that is, producing revenue. So, you've done your thing, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Can you share with us, how do we consume you?
You can get my free case study at changenowwithchristy.com. That's Change Now with CHRISTY, Christy.com. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn, or connect me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Instagram. I would love it. Like, I love what I do. I love empowering women. I've had a lot of women this year who inbox me and say, I follow your stuff. And then I got, like one lady was like, I doubled my salary following you. I ain't tell a lot of people because I was like, you didn't work with me, but I'm still going to count that. God is going to put that increase.
Count that as part of that tally, right?
I'm not going to put that in my marketing, but I can't put it in my marketing because she wasn't a client. But that's the thing, is that it's not about, I don't work for money. I work for God. God is my provider. I get the provision and amply provided for if I just do the work that I'm called to do. So
That's right.
We do a lot of great things, and I appreciate you for inviting me to the show. It took a couple times to get me here. And I'm still traveling. I'm in a hotel today. I was talking to a lady. That's why I was like, get out of here. I got this interview. But
it's all good. We appreciate you. We are very grateful that you came. I will send you a copy of the video as well, so you can have it, edit it, do what you please with it. But this is definitely well needed. This has been a very tough year this year, past couple of years, and who knows what's going to happen going into 2022. But you dropped some jewels, especially folks that are looking to, whether they're looking to depart their jobs and do their own thing or go for something else. So if you want more information, you know where to find Miss Christy Rutherford. On that note, we are out. Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy. We out.